Today in history. It's now time for our daily journey to the past.
Yes, but before we get to our two events that we have for our listeners today, here is the quiz question. The UK's official broadcaster is, number one, the ABC, number two, the BBC, or number three, the CCC. Okay, the question once again. The UK's official broadcaster is, number one, the ABC, number two, the BBC, or number three, the CCC. If you know the answer, then you can put it on our Bundy board or text in on your cell phone, pounder sharp 1045 for 50 or 101, depending on the length of your message, and the prize this time, a 2015 casual planner.
Awesome. Okay, let's go and check out what interesting events happened on this day in the past.
Today in history. In 1666, the first successful blood transmission was demonstrated, and in 1922, the BBC radio aired for the first time.
자, 오늘은 11월 14일이죠. 1666년 11월 14일 처음으로 수혈을 하는데 성공했습니다. First successful blood transmission. 자, 그런가 하면 1922년 11월 14일 BBC 라디오가 첫 방송을 한 날이고요.
Okay, so we start today's journey to the past with a milestone medical event that took place on this day way back in 1666.
Well, that was the first successfully demonstrated technique for passing the blood of one living animal to another, performed by English physician Richard Lower.
In other words, Richard Lower paved the way for the field of blood transfusions as well as its
Right.
associated medical benefits.
Exactly. The demonstration took place in London, and the participants were two dogs. So we're talking about blood transfusion here.
Yeah, we're talking about passing blood from one animal to another. Now, the blood transfusion from one dog to the other was successful halfway, as the donor dog unfortunately did not survive the experimental procedure.
Oops, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
Those types of experiments may not be allowed today with animals like dogs, and that's a good thing, I think. But
I see.
you have to remember it was 1666 at the time, right?
맞습니다. Okay, and that's what happened on that day in 1666. And now we're going to go to the 20th century when the first radio broadcast of an iconic media corporation took place on this day in 1922.
In 1922, that milestone moment belonged to the BBC, the world's oldest national broadcasting organization, with transmission kicking off with these historic words.
This is 2LO, the London station of the British Broadcasting Company calling. 2LO calling.
오,
That's quite the beginning.
네, 그렇습니다.
We are the BBC!
자, 세계에서 사실은 가장 오래된 그런 국립방송사라고 합니다. And what began with the staff of just 4 people became a team of 100 staff members by the following year, making the habit of listening in to the radio, as it was called, an everyday thing.
You know, I love the radio. I think it's the best form of communicating with people on an everyday basis. And it's fascinating to me that that's what it sounded like way back at that time. The quality of the transmission, obviously not perfect, right?
Right.
But you remember, that was 1922 when that happened. That's amazing to me. Well, the BBC, if you're curious, it's comprised of several divisions, including TV, radio, news, interactive media, and music. And it is widely considered as an impartial channel of information delivery that has set the standard for other media corporations around the world.
So it comes as no surprise that BBC boasts the world's largest broadcast news organization, according to a 2011 article by SUNY actually College in New York.
So to put it into perspective, the BBC broadcasts a total of 120 hours of radio and television news daily.
매일같이 120시간에 달하는 라디오 방송과 또 TV 뉴스 방송을 하고 있다고 하는군요. BBC. Okay, now before we wrap up, what is the answer to your quiz question, please?
Well, the question was, the UK's official broadcaster is and the answer number 2, the BBC.
BBC였습니다. CCC라는 거는 못 들어본 것 같습니다.
That's right.
네.
Do you know Canada's broadcasting station?
CBC
The
maybe?
CBC.
맞았어요?
Yeah, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. That's right.
또 막 던져보세요. 또 뭐가 있을까?
That's all I know.
네, 오케이.
That's going to do it for today in history. We'll be back on Monday with more from the past.